Welcome to Album of the Week, episode 42, August 2023. For those of you new to this channel, here at Screen Blast Repeat, we bring you all things extreme metal, prog, and dark alternative. You can read our daily reviews at www.screenblastrepeat.com. As a reminder, our definition of Album of the Week means our favourite record from a short list of 8. Today, we review the debut album from English post-metal quartet Mairu. Their new LP is called Cultus, and they released it via Trepanation Recordings on the 28th of July 2023. The post-industrial city of Liverpool has its fair share of contemporary metal artists. Dawnraid and Ninkarside lead the black metal charge on Merseyside. Conan are the heaviest doom band on the planet. Copa Crisis will be playing their brand of brutal death metal at festivals in Germany and Switzerland over the summer holidays, and Loathe looks set to make inroads in the global progressive metalcore scene with their next album. Post-metal quartet Mairu formed as recently as 2018 and made their first recording in 2019 with the Sacred Dissonance EP. Now, cult English label Trepanation Recordings has the privilege of releasing the group's debut album, and it does everything possible to enhance the reputation of artist and record company alike. Mairu create a specific mood over the 48 minutes of Cultus, and it's a mood of grieving contemplation. Dark fifth chords and distorted bass friction simmer in constant agitation. Inventive drum patterns look for new ways to keep your cerebral mind active, even if you feel bereft of hope and seek comfort in solitude. Opener, Torchbearer, is 9 minutes of impatience and frustration externalized as an excitable rush of emotions that precede a descent into psychosis. A hostile gale force wind fades through the speakers in the shadows of a distant ecclesiastical hum at the beginning before a mean doom metal riff changes the dynamics. Ben Davis's ritualistic tom drum placements keep you on edge. Only the vocals mark this out as post-metal. 3 of the 4 band members take to the microphone on this record, so it's never easy to establish whose gullet produces the anguished shouting voice. Here, it reverberates like the distant cry of a person sectioned under the Mental Health Act for not taking their meds. They want to be heard but see nothing but blank faces and dispassionate beings ignoring them. The slow, reflective guitars in the intro to Perihelion were once the domain of Liverpool innovators Anathema. In the hands of Mairu, the mournful, clean guitar melodies reverberate like pleasant reminders of happier days. Dan Hunt's bass explorations add to the sensitive reminiscence with finger patterns higher up the fretboard. The band follow this with fuzzy overdrive shapes that bend into metal formations like the wrought iron objects of a blacksmith. One moment, all 3 instruments merge in combined force. The next might see just one of them remain in a lonely plucking motion. Inter alia allows you to recover from this trauma with 1 minute of minimalist piano and dreamy saxophone. Who'd have thought that a post-metal record could take you back to the smoky waiting room of a train station platform in Cornforth? Of course, the atmospheric doom metal rumination of Mairu's music is what makes them so invigorating. Sometimes they forget about their surroundings and rip into a ferocious passage of metallic chugging, as evidenced on Wild Darkened Eyes. The levels of grief match the sonic aggression in perfect harmony. Few bands can marry the two with such ease. Cult of Luna and Still come to mind, but Ben Davis is the key here. He knows when to stop and when to restart at the critical moments with his drumsticks. The reset at the 4-minute mark to a slower morass of sludge metal density is a case in point. Long-form compositions are the norm on Soul Cultus, but don't let that deter you. Every song on this album is a delicate creation from the gut. The Scattering Dusk accentuates the My Dying Bride doom with no hope of finding a way out of the misery. Or so you think. Ethereal guitar melodies add temporary light under the shadow of an hourglass. The dynamics transition from a saunter to a slaughter of the soul when you least expect them. Head-swinging riffs aim to decapitate you with the blunt side of the blade. Mairu never said they would look out for your health. In fact, they have little to say on a verbal basis because the music does the talking. The 6 minutes and 39 seconds of instrumental post-metal in Attar communicate their trauma through the solemn march of funeral drums and a dark wave of distorted power chords. Only when the guitars settle on an agitated downstrumming can the drums embrace a simple 2-beat rhythm. How merciful that you can grieve on your own. 2023 will see the release of many post-metal albums weighed down by claustrophobic atmospherics. Some will be elevated to heights of rage beyond the daily life of their creators. That's because the music is the conduit that they need to funnel their anger into productive pursuits. Mairu have a considerable way to go before we can talk of them in the same sentence as The Ocean, or even rock bands like Torch or Unsane. Mairu have a quintessential English death doom sorrow running through their music, rather than the hardcore origins that inform much of the American post-metal scene. More vocals would be welcome here. The few outcries of voice that permeate through this record leave scars on your conscience. Is there anything you can do, should do, to help the protagonist of these screams? If this is only the beginning, imagine what Mairu have in store for the next record. There's no doubt it will be an emotional burden. And so, after serious consideration, we award Soul Cultus an 8 out of 10. If you like this album, we recommend you check out the following records: Everest Queen's Murmurations album from 2022, Anathema's 1995 classic, The Silent Enigma, and Phantom Center by Collapse, released earlier this year. Thanks for watching. Remember to like and subscribe to our YouTube channel, follow us on Facebook, and, more importantly, please visit our website at www.screamblastrepeat.com for the latest album and EP reviews from established, up-and-coming, and unsigned artists in the worlds of extreme metal prog and dark alternative.